What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing some Blue Eyes White Dragon test hands. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name screwed for every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So I'm really excited to show you guys these Blue Eyes test hands because this deck is an extremely fun deck to be able to establish some extremely large dragons to OTK your opponent. I absolutely love playing Blue Eyes because it's all about power, summoning out really big dragons to OTK and being able to establish some insane boards, especially with the engines that I'm including in this build for you guys. If you guys would like to check out the deck profile, as always, it's down in the description down below. And this deck is just insane, so you guys should definitely check it out. So we're gonna go ahead and pile shuffle up the deck because, you know guys, it's dad rule number one that you guys gotta pile shuffle the deck or you run the risk of breaking. So let's go ahead and pile shuffle it up, and then once we've got it pile shuffled, we're gonna give the deck a quick shuffle and see what we can do for our first test hand, because this deck is super fun to be able to play. So let's go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and draw. We're drawing a copy of the Blue Eyes White Dragon right off the bat. Another copy of Blue Eyes, hopefully don't draw all three. A copy of the Bestial Lubellion, Assault Synchron, and a copy of our alternative. So this is actually not too bad. We don't want to draw multiple copies of Blue Eyes, obviously, but it's okay. We still have some pretty cool plays. So what we can do with this hand is we're going to go ahead and use the effect of our Lubellion in our hand to be able to send it to the graveyard. And once we do, we're going to use its effect to be able to grab a copy of our Saunier. Saunier is really good to grab here because it's going to give us more utility in the long run to be able to establish Branded Regain and Branded Beast on our side of the field. And now at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to reveal our copy of our Blue Eyes in our hand with our copy of all alternative to be able to summon out alternative to our side of the field. Now we can just special summon out our copy of Assault Synchron to our side of the field by taking 700 points of damage. And we have some really cool options that you can actually go into in the extract, like a copy of Dispatter, a copy of Baron, or whatever you really want to go for, like a copy of Chaos Angel, which will actually give it both materials, which is really cool. But let's go ahead and go for, say, a Dispatter, because it's going to give us more utility, because it lets us revive one of our banished cards back to our side of the field, which is a really cool ability to be able to just instantly get what we want back on our side of the field. We can just banish whatever card, or we can just establish the Baron if we want to establish the Baron. Let's go ahead and establish Baron. It's totally up to you. This could be any level 10 that we play that's a synchro monster that you want to summon. So we're going to go ahead and establish our copy of Baron on our side of the field. And now we're going to use the effect of our Saunier in our hand to be able to banish from our graveyard our copy of our Assault Synchron to be able to summon itself to our side of the field. Now at this point, we're going to go ahead and tribute it, special summon out the copy of Lubellion, and then our copy of Saunier will go off to be able to send from our deck to the graveyard our copy of Branded Regained. We then have the ability of our Lubellion to be able to put on our side of the field our copy of Branded Beast. And then during the end phase, we have the effect of our Branded Regained, or a copy of Branded Beast, that'll put Branded Regained back on our side of the field, which is just really good because we establish this really insane board right off the bat to instantly basically establish this really cool field, because now we have a pop, we can revive back our Saunier off of this copy of Branded Regain, and we just have this really good pop and negate on our side of the field again. And that's with two Blue Eyes White Dragons in our hand, which is not good to open up two. One would be fine. 2 is not great, but it's okay because we established this insane board, which is really nice. And what I wanted to show you guys, that how consistent this deck is to be able to just establish these really crazy boards. But I'm gonna show you guys what we would draw if we drew next turn. We draw a Melody, which is really good because now we can just discard one of these Blue Eyes, get a copy of Alternative, get a copy of like Jet Dragon or whatever you want to get. Even Chaos Emperor, because we do have Chaos Emperor, we have Light and Dark in the graveyard, which is just going to establish us more. So in the follow-up turn, we're going to discard this, and then we can just grab these cards from our deck to our hand, which I'm going to show you guys really quickly what we would grab off our copy of our Melody. I'd grab the second copy of Alternative, and I would actually grab Chaos Emperor, because now we have two monsters we can summon to our side of the field off the copy of our Melody, because we can just reveal, summon this, banish the copy of the Sawnir and the other alternative from the graveyard, summon out our copy of our Chaos Emperor, and we can always link away our copy of Sawnir as well, which is going to give us more materials on our side of the field into like a Horatic Seal or an SP Little Knight or whatever you need, which is just really, really cool. So that was a great first test hand. Let's go ahead and see what we can do for the next one. Hopefully we don't draw on a double Blue Eyes White Dragon, but hey, it's okay. So let's go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do for our next test hand. See if we can establish something really crazy this time like we did before. So we're gonna go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do. So we're gonna go ahead and draw, and we're gonna draw into a copy of Sage. Sage is already really good. A Blue Eyes White Dragon, Infinite Impermanence, Melody, and a copy of Trade-In. So this is actually pretty decent. This is actually very decent. So right off the bat, we do have the copy of the Melody that we can use to be able to discard a card, which is really going to help us out a lot. Let's go ahead and use the copy of Melody with our copy of Blue Eyes. And once we do that, we're going to grab another copy of Blue Eyes and a copy of Alternative. You're usually grabbing Blue Eyes and Alternative together so that you can summon out your copy of your Blue Eyes Alternative. So we're going to reveal, summon out our copy of Blue Eyes Alternative to our side of the field, and we have this in our hand now. We can just normal summon the copy of Sage if you want to, but we can also use its ability to summon out a copy of like Jet Dragon if you want to summon Jet Dragon. But I feel like just normal summoning is probably the better option because it's going to give us another search. So what we're going to do is we're going to normal summon out the copy of Sage. Sage is going to go off, and we're going to add any level 1 light tuner from our deck to our hand, which you can add a copy of Effect Veiler if you want to add Effect Veiler. You actually have like 3 different targets. You can add the Effect Veiler, you can add your copy of Stone of Ancients, or you can add a copy of Stone of Legend, which is basically our 3 targets that you really want to add. I'm actually going to add the copy of the Effect Veiler to hand because it's going to give us another negate, which is just going to help us out. So we're going to shuffle up the deck. Now we have 2 negates in our hand with the copy of Imperm and the copy of Veiler, which is just really good. And we're going to go ahead and shuffle it up, cut the deck really fast, and once we do, we have the copy of the Blue Eyes in the hand with Trade-In to be able to give us a draw 2. So we're going to use its ability, draw 2, and then let's see what we get. So we're going to go ahead and get a copy of Blue Eyes and Ash, and now we have 3 negates in our hand, and we're going to go ahead and Synchro Summon using these 2 on our side of the field into a really cool old school play. And we're going to go ahead and Synchro Summon into the copy of Spirit Dragon. So with this field, it again does not look like a lot, but we have 3 hand traps in our hand, and this can tag out into an Azure Eyes, which is going to start reviving Blue Eyes like crazy. Set the copy of Imperm to our side of the field, and during our opponent's turn, we can use this to be able to tag out. And once we tag it out, we're going to summon out the copy of the Azure Eyes, which is going to help us out. And then now we also have the copy of Effect Veiler and the Ash Blossom in hand that we can use as hand traps. We have the Imperms, we have 3 negates and a tag out, which is insane. Plus the copy of the Spirit Dragon is also kind of sort of a negate. And then we also have the Azure Eyes that has the ability of its special summon. Until the end of the next turn, neither player can target dragons currently on the field, so you can't target this card. And also they cannot be destroyed by card effects. And once per turn during your stamina phase, you can target a normal dragon in the grave and revive it. And we do have the copy of Blue Eyes that we discarded. So we can actually revive back one of our Blue Eyes to our side of the field, which is really nice. And this card is just going to start summoning Blue Eyes over and over again. And so now at this point, we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of our Dictator of D. Use its ability to be able to send a copy of Blue Eyes or Dragon from our hand or deck to the grave, which we already have one in our graveyard. We have 1 on the field, and then we have 1 in the hand. So we're going to go ahead and summon it out to our side of the field. Unfortunately, we didn't have another one in the deck, so we're just going to go ahead and send our copy of Blue Eyes from our hand to the grave, summon it out to the field, or you can actually do it a different way. Since we don't have to normal summon or anything else, we can just normal summon out the copy of Dictator, and then we can use its ability to discard our Blue Eyes to target a Blue Eyes in the grave and special summon it. So we can actually special summon out another copy of Blue Eyes, and now we just switch to attack and no TK, because we probably stopped everything our opponent had, which is just really insane how easy that was to establish this really insane field. And this card is just going to summon Blue Eyes every single turn, just constantly summoning out all 3 Blue Eyes to our side of the field, which is just really, really good. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for our next test hand, because that was pretty good. That was actually really insane how we actually established like 2 Blue Eyes on our side of the field and just got these really cool hands. This is what's nice about Blue Eyes is you go through the hands so quickly, and it's just so easy to be able to just establish these really insane boards, especially with the Bestial cards in the deck. They're just really, really, really good. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck and see what we can do for our next test hand. So we're going to shuffle it up and see what we can do. Maybe we'll open up another Blue Eyes. We opened up Blue Eyes twice this test hand video. So we're going to open up a copy of Dictator of D, a copy of Sawnir, Ash Blossom, Druid's Worm, and a copy of the Whitestone. So if you're playing up against a light and dark deck, you're pretty much set. Because you have 2 hand traps with your copy of Druid's Worm and Saunier that's going to banish stuff, and you have the copy of Ash. So you have so many like utilities to just deal with your opponent. So what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go ahead and start with Dictator, and we're going to send from our deck to the graveyard a Blue Eyes White Dragon. So we're going to send Blue Eyes to the grave, summon out our copy of Dictator, use its ability, and it has the insane effect. Like, this card is crazy. It has the ability that if this card's in your hand, you discard a Blue Eyes White Dragon, or any card that mentions it, which are a copy of the Blue Eyes, let's see, does it actually mention Blue Eyes White Dragon? Blue Eyes Monster. So we basically are just going to use our copy. Actually, I have a better play even than that. So what we can do with this is it's just insane that you can basically just summon this card this way, and how easy it is to just instantly get it on our side of the field. But now we have the ability that we can basically make it so our opponent is going to have to target exactly what we want. But I want to link Rebo here. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this, normal it out to our side of the field. And then once we normal it, we're just going to summon out the copy of Link Rebo to our side of the field. And then we also have our copy of our Druid's Worm and Saunier in the hand to be able to back us up for later, which is going to be really nice. Plus we have the copy of the Whitestone, because I wanted to keep that Blue Eyes in the graveyard because I can use the Whitestone's ability to be able to special summon a Blue Eyes monster from the deck, because it was in the graveyard during the end phase, and since we have a Blue Eyes White Dragon in the grave, we can bring out Jet Dragon, and Jet Dragon is live while Blue Eyes is on the field or in the graveyard. So we just did it this way instead, which is just going to give us more utility in the long run, which I really wanted to bring out this to our side of the field. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to pass over the opponent. We have both of these that we can banish light and dark monsters from our opponent's graveyard to be able to summon them out. We have the copy of Ash Blossom to deal with our opponent. We just have so much plays that we can just go off into. So we can go ahead and draw for our next turn, draw into another copy of Dictator. This actually mentions Blue Eyes White Dragon by name, so we can discard it to the graveyard and then summon out our copy of our Blue Eyes White Dragon from the grave, bringing it back to our side of the field. Now we establish this and we can OTK. So you have basically this field as well. So let's go ahead and do another test hand and see what we can do for another one. As you guys can see, it's all about power with this deck. It's all about summoning out some really cool cards and just OTKing as quickly as possible. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do for our next one. So we're going to shuffle up our deck and let's see what we can draw. We haven't gone into any fusion plays because we only play the one ultimate fusion in this deck. So it's a little bit more difficult to go in for fusion plays in this deck, but you can still do it. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle it up and see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and draw. Draw into a copy of Trade-In, another Trade-In, hopefully draw on a level 8. Druid's Worm, Imperm, come on, one more. Branded Beast, nothing. That is a nothing hand. If we were to draw, we draw into Melody, and then we'd be on going second. We draw like 4 with this hand, which is insane. That's really, really good, actually, going second. So let's do one last test hand and see what we can do for one more. That actually was nothing. That hand was absolutely nothing. We'd have Druid's Worm. If we basically, our opponent's playing light or dark, if they're playing fire, they're not going to have anything that's light or dark. But if they're playing like light or dark, anything, then we can just banish something, summon Druid's Worm, set the Branded Beast, get a pop, get basically a send to graveyard. So we have like really insane established field. But this is why I show you guys and tell you guys, if you brick with your deck, make sure that you're pile shuffling. It's very important to pile shuffle, because if you don't pile shuffle, you will run into instances like that you will brick, and that is a little bit unfortunate. So we're gonna go ahead and draw into a copy of Melody, or copy of Rebellion, Dictator of D, Blue Eyes White Dragon, and an Assault Synchron. So this is actually really decent. This is actually really, really good, actually. Wow. Okay, so what we're going to do with this hand is we're going to use Dictator of D. This card is insane. This is Magician Souls for the deck. We're going to send our copy of Blue Eyes White Dragon from our deck to the grave, and we're going to summon it out to our side of the field. We're then going to use our copy of our Melody in our hand, and we're going to discard a Blue Eyes White Dragon. And then once we discard Blue Eyes White Dragon, we're going to add a Blue Eyes White Dragon from our deck to our hand, which is just going to give us more plays. We're going to have Blue Eyes, and we're going to add our alternative from our deck to our hand off its ability, because now we can summon our copy of alternative, and we're going to kind of get a better field than we did the first hand, maybe a little bit better. It kind of depends on how you look at it. Summon out the Blue Eyes, alternative by revealing Blue Eyes White Dragon in the hand. Special summon out the copy of the Assault Synchron. Now keep in mind, this is 3 summons. We're not in the Biru territory yet. We're going to go ahead and synchro these 2 together. and we're going to make a copy of our Baron just to establish a negate. Now we're at 4 summons. And then we have the Lubellion. We're going to use its ability, and then we're going to establish the Saunier. Saunier is going to banish our Assault Synchron, and we're going to summon it out to our side of the field, tribute it to summon out our copy of Lubellion. Lubellion will go off, and Saunier will go off. Well, Saunier will go off. Lubellion will go off afterwards. We'll go ahead and use the ability of our Saunier to be able to send Branded Regain to the graveyard, and then we'll use the ability after the fact of our Lubellion to put our copy of Branded Beast on our side of the field. And once we do that, we can then put our copy during the end phase of our Branded Regain back on our side of the field. So you establish a negate and a pop, and we also have the ability of our Branded Regained as well, which is going to help us out in the long term. And we have a Blue Eyes in hand that we can use with our copy of our Dictator, which is really, really nice. And I love that about this play, because you just can revive back a Blue Eyes. Like, that's so cool to be able to just bring back Blue Eyes to your side of the field off its ability, which basically you can just discard. And then since we have 3 Blue Eyes in the grave, you can bring one back to your side of the field, which is going to help us out in the long run of things. And you can even link these away if you want to for erratic seals, but like, you just have so many, you just have so much advantage in this hand. Like, it's just really insane. So I think that's going to do for this one, guys. This deck is crazy powerful. I will show you guys one cool thing before we end. If you did establish all 3 of those Blue Eyes in the graveyard, and you did like get into your copy of Ultimate Fusion, you can use the Ultimate Fusion at this point and put back all 3 of these by putting all 3 back into the deck, which is crazy that we had all 3, and establish Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate. Or instead of that, you can put in one of these and keep the Blue Eyes in the grave and keep it live, and then this card counts as having Blue Eyes Alternative used as a fusion material, so it's a pop 3, and it's just a tank of a card. Like, that card is insane to deal with, and just outs basically everything, so you can just summon this out to your side of the field, which is why I consider playing double Ultimate Fusion in my build. So definitely consider that if you want to play double Ultimate Fusion, maybe do it. Because it's going to give you more utility to recycle your Blue Eyes cards. So that is going to do it for this one, guys. This deck is crazy, as you guys can see. It's really fun to be able to play with the Bastille cards, because you can establish those crazy powerful boards. And it's just a really fun deck overall. If you guys would like, check out the deck profile. As always, it's down in the description down below. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can come part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.